deeper pathways in terms of acting, particularly in relation to Greek tragedy and acting the role of tragic heroine. My case study character is Euripides' Medea. So the veil that covers the world of Greek tragedy is that we don't actually know how this plays used to be acted. Since they still attract the interest of both the academic and theatrical world, the point should be to investigate the connection that these plays have with the present moment. Why contemporary actors are still interested in exploring these characters. Why characters such as Euripides' Medea remain a mystery and a challenge for the contemporary actor. So in my attempt to explore this challenge, I bring up questions such as what might be the source of the power of the tragic heroine? How does the contemporary actor relate to Medea? How could Medea be acted today? My suggestion is through exploration on what has always been there, the actor's soma. Soma defines the body-mind entity, the experienced body. Maybe it's this kind of body that can reveal the link between ritual and drama, past and present, consciousness and unconsciousness, character and actor. And it might fill in the gaps left behind by scholars. My exploration starts from the cell as the smallest form of life. The cell is an innate source of ancient knowledge. And actually the cell is the beginning of the exploration of our own body-mind integration, suggested by Bonnie Bainbridge-Cohen and her body-mind centering method. Body-mind centering belongs to this kind of innovative body-mind integration approaches called somatics. So for me, the cell becomes the beginning of understanding, thinking, and feeling Medea's raw nature. This is why I call it cellular metamorphosis. This performance is a demonstration of the initial stages of the practice process. You're going to watch two parts. The first part is an exploration on the text and the impact that might have on the actor's movement, insight, sensations. I'm using Nurse's prologue at the beginning of the play. The narration you're going to listen to is actually an organic work on the flow of the play. The second part is an experimental prose, abstract vocalizations develop into words and finally reach Euripides' text, as far as this Euripides' text. Of course, there is movement, which happens in and beyond the sphere of two planes, the horizontal, the earth, and the vertical towards the sky. There is structure that came up through the experimental process and the preparation, but the performance is always open to the experience of the present moment, and of course, your presence here. Questions arose such as, how can I define my interaction with the text? What kind of translation should I use? Or what should be the next step that will finally lead me to the sequence of the plot, preserving at the same time an organic character delivery. The improvisation starts and finishes with a sound. At the end, for the time left, I'll be really excited about listening to your questions or comments if you would like. I would prefer them to be in relation to your own experience as witnesses of this performance. So, if you could please open your senses and perceive and receive whatever you would like to.
How I wish that the Argo had not flown through the dark, clashing rocks on its sea journey to the Colchians' land. That the pine had never fallen hewn amid the glens of Mount Pelion and furnished oars for the hands of those heroic men who went to win the golden fleece for Peleus. Then my mistress Medea would never have sailed to the towers of the land of Iolcos, her heart unhinged in her love for Jason. She would not have persuaded the daughters of Peleus to kill her father, and would not now be living with her husband and children in this land of Corinth, gladdening the citizens to whose country she has come in her exile, a woman totally in accord with Jason himself, and this is the greatest security of all, when a wife is not in this harmony with her husband, but now hatred has corroded everything, and dearest love grows sick. Jason has betrayed his own children and my mistress, and beds down in a royal match. He has married the daughter of Creon who rules this land, unhappy Medea. Thus dishonored cries out his oaths, invokes that weightiest pledge of his right hand, and calls the gods to witness how he has repaid her. She lies there eating nothing, surrendering her body to her sorrows, pining away in tears unceasingly since she saw that her husband had wronged her. She will not look up, will not lift her face from the ground, but listens to her friends as they give advice no more than if she were a rock or a wave of the sea, save that sometimes she turns away her pale, pale neck and bemoans to herself her dear father and her country and the home which she betrayed to come here with a man who now holds her in dishonor. Schooled by misfortune, the poor woman has learned what it is to be parted from one's fatherland. But she hates her children and feels no joy in seeing them. I am afraid that she may be planning something we do not expect. Her temperament is dangerous and will not tolerate bad treatment. I know her, and I fear that she may go silently into the house where her bed is laid and drive a sharpened sword into their heart, or even that she may kill the princess and the bridegroom and then meet some greater disaster. For she is fearsome. No one who joins in conflict with her will celebrate an easy victory. But here come the children. They stopped running their races. They take no thought for their mother's sorrows. A youngest mind makes no habit of grieving. I have come to such a pitch of distress that a longing swept over me to come here and speak of my mistress's woes to the earth and sky. Her sorrows are at their outset, not yet halfway run. I saw her eye just now glinting at them like a bull's, as if she meant to do something to them, and she will not give up her rage. I know it clearly before she swoops down on someone, but may she choose her enemies for some mischief, not her friends. Your mother stirs, her heart stirs, her rage. Hurry quickly into the house, and do not approach near her side, but be on your guard against her wild character, the hateful temper of her wild mind. Go now, go quick as you can inside. It is plain that soon she will make the cloud of her laments, which now begins to gather flash forth as her passion grows. Her heart is full of spirit, not easily to be soothed. Stung by these injuries, whatever will she do, cruel woman? What share do you think your boys have in their father's wrongdoing? Why hate them? There is no household that is over now. A royal marriage keeps my master elsewhere, while in her bedroom my mistress wastes away her life, and her heart finds no comfort, none in the words of any of her friends. Do you hear what she says, how she cries out upon Themis, goddess of praise, and Zeus, acknowledged the protector of oaths among mortals? Certainly it will be by no trivial action that my mistress will lay her anger to rest, yet she darts on her servants the wild glance of a lioness with young. Whenever any of them goes near to say something, you would not be wrong if you denounced our ancestors as fools and ignoramuses. They discovered songs for festivities, banquets, and feasts to charm the ears and enhance our lives. But no one has discovered how music and songs with rich accompaniment of strings can put an end to man's hateful sorrows, which lead to deaths and dreadful misfortunes that overturn the house. And yet it would be a gain if men could cure these things with music.
I saved you. I saved you from the arco. I helped you harness. I helped you harness. Breathing. Bulls. I. I helped you plow the field of death. And to sow the dragon's teeth. I.
the guardian of the golden fleece. Ah. I. I lead you to safety there. And then I did. I betrayed my own father and my home. And I sailed to a coast with you. I showed more passion than wisdom. I killed Elias. Elias who sent you on your quest. I had him butchered by his own daughters. The most horrible of deaths. gave you children.
Look at this. My hand. The hand you took in your own hand.
Look at those knees you climbed. Empty gestures, all of them. Where can I go now? Ah. Ah. I. I saved you, Zeus. Zeus!
Why is there no mark to tell the true man from the false one? There's something missing in any kind of translation, even in modern Greek. You can't actually say that something is missing, because we're talking about the evolution of language, passing the time. So apparently this is what we're looking for. Not what is missing, but what has changed, but with the same source, which is the survived text, the Greek tragedy. In terms of English, so there's a fine line when you kind of forget that you speak in a different language. Yeah, I know. Anyway, that's the objective. Of course, we are talking about an organic, natural process, and English is not my first language, so something is there. But something that is not actually in you doesn't mean that cannot be connected with you in a natural, organic way. So I guess that is part of the whole exploration and of the whole experimentation and the practice, since I'm doing it in a country in which we speak a different language, so I think. But there is always this. It's always something in translation. So we're not talking about a better or worse Greek or English translation. We're talking always about translation, and of course, it comes more naturally when the translation is in Greek. Because actually there is a sequence in Greek language.
My question is about the movement exploration rather than the text. I know you wanted to bring both together, but the movement-wise, I'm curious as to the evolution of the movement. I noticed some repetitions there, and I noticed a change in intensity, and there are certain movements that came back and went somewhere else and then came back. And I'm curious, what you did here today is something you found during your private exploration of this technique, or is it almost like stepping stones to get to Medea? How free is
now,
this movement?
For now, it's free. And my intention is still to be open. What I did is that I followed this method that I mentioned in the introduction, body-mind centering, and starting from the exploration of the cellular level, and being aware of my body as one cell, and the same time as unity comprised by billions of cells. So somehow you make yourself inwards and outwards open. Then what happened during one improvisation, I just visualized Medea cells. So it was mainly, we would say, simple imagination. And while I was picturing my cells as happy and white, suddenly something, you know, sticky and dark red came in. So since that point, I started exploring the findings. I was filming myself, and I found this repetition coming, you know, through the chest area and the hands. And going back, the interesting thing is that after improvisations, when you're going back to the text, some things might seem clearer. So I found, because I'm working with the ancient text as well. I mean, that's what I wanted to go back and somehow there is a repetition in the text as it is, and there is this word, thymos, which in modern Greek means anger, but in ancient Greek means thoughts, feelings, emotions. And they used to believe that the home of the emotions and our thoughts and our feelings is here, where somehow the thymus gland is. And another part of the whole method is to explore is experimental anatomy, explore different systems of yourself. So in parallel to cellular exploration, through the improvisations and through the observation of myself, I ended up here and exploring this track from my pelvic area to here and the connection with the limbs. And if it was obvious, there were two different sources, my pelvic area and here, the area around the thymus gland and of course heart here. And yes, it is a puzzle. It was a puzzle of, it didn't come up like after one improvisation. No, it started like in July, this mid-July, beginning of August. The whole preparation for this thing. So yes, it came after particular findings and different steps. And through this track then it's like the glands, the whole thing, and particular exercises, step by step. Wherever my body mind entity now leads me. That's why I'm looking forward, for structure, but it's still so early. So.
My final question now, sorry guys, me again, is about your state of mind, leaving Christina out and bringing Medea. Did you always get to the same character through this exploration?
Yeah, the feeling,
or it varies?
The feeling, it's always similar. Okay. I wouldn't say the same, because each exploration is is different. Yeah, it has the same beginning, but it can lead you to different routes. So yes, the basic feeling, it is the same, because we are talking about one character, we are talking about several characters. But just because the states the state of the concentration is really Sometimes you're more open, sometimes you're more in the outer world, but we're human. I'm talking about body, mind, entity, and natural things. So we are human beings. Sometimes the states of the concentration can change. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.